Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
It is Tuesday Takeaway. Today's book that I want to share some insights is called Eating for Life by Bill Phillips, best-selling author of Body for Life. I had the opportunity to work with Bill to speak twice at his camps back in 2017. My question to you is, over the past 5 to 10 years, how much weight have you lost? Now, someone may be thinking, well, I've lost 20 pounds or 30 pounds, but that answer could be dependent upon how much weight we have lost, gained back, and then lost again. In this takeaway, I wanted to share some common thoughts or some insights from Bill's book, Eating for Life. It's really a recipe book. It's a meal book, and I recommend it. I've used it throughout the years periodically. I have not used it every day. There are certain meals that I really enjoy compared to others, but it's a really common sense approach to eating. And the title, Eating for Life, I think says it all, that we don't have to go through these crash diets, these fads, things that are very extreme when it comes to losing weight and keeping the weight off. Now, I am not a physician. Always check with your doctor before you do anything. There is my disclaimer. I do want to share a couple of thoughts here. On page 13, he talks about most weight lost is found. I believe this book goes back at least 20, 25 years since it's been written, but it's still very relevant. He says that the number of Americans who begin a new weight loss diet each year is about 50 million. The number of Americans who regain all or more of the weight they lost dieting is 47.5 million. So the problem is not necessarily losing weight. The problem is keeping the weight off. We know all the stats. He talks about the big fat problem on page number 5, that the number of overweight American children has quadrupled from 2.8 million in 1970 to 11 million in 2000. And the number of overweight American adults has doubled from 63 million in 1970 to 130 million in 2000. So we can imagine what those numbers are in 2026. What he does do that I want to share with you at this time is he gives 4 parameters when it comes to the right recipe ingredient. So what he talks about in this book is really a balanced approach when it comes to eating. So number 1 is making sure that we eat the right foods. That would include protein, carbohydrates, fats, fiber, hydration, water, minerals, all of these elements of making sure that we're eating the right foods as opposed to empty calories. Now, I think we all know what those empty calories often are. They typically are in plastic. They typically are things like donuts that spike our blood sugars, have a lot of carbs, a lot of fat, and then essentially we eventually crash. And so making sure that we eat the right foods becomes really important. That's number 1. And so as you think about eating for life, ensuring that the right foods are a part of our daily lives becomes really important. Number 2 is the right amounts. So making sure that we have the right amount of food, of protein and carbs and fats and fiber and even hydration. It is amazing to see what happens when we don't stay hydrated, and that sometimes can have severe repercussions on energy, on focus, even on our appetite. Typically, sometimes we may think that we're hungry. Could be that we actually just need more hydration. And so as he talks about the right amount of foods, that becomes important too. This is one of the big lessons that I took away working with Bill for a few years and being a part of his camps as well, making sure that whenever I ate, I always tried to have protein along with my carbohydrates to balance out my blood sugar. That was something that really helped me go a long way. And that leads us to number three, the right combo. So the right combination of foods. Carbohydrates are not evil. Carbohydrates are not bad. If you're a vegan, you can get carbohydrates from grain, from potatoes, from beans. Carbohydrates in and of themselves are not necessarily bad, depending on, I guess, the type of carbohydrates, but think about fruits and vegetables. All of those are a part of that as well. He does emphasize quite a bit in these meals a balanced approach, the right combination of proteins to carbs to fat that will help us to stay at a good level with our blood sugars. And so he talks about that as well. And then number four, the right times. So when we eat and how much we eat and the combination that we have when we eat, it does matter. Now, it is interesting that what seemed to work the best for me following Bill Phillips' plan and looking at this book, Eating for Life and Body for Life, typically having my meals within a 12-hour window. So if I woke up at 6 a.m., getting my meals from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. typically has worked well for me. That does not necessarily mean that it will work well for everyone. There are a lot of people who may not eat breakfast. There's a lot of science behind that, fasting until we get to lunch around 12 p.m., 2 p.m. for some people. Other people have a 8-hour window, a 4-hour window. And so you can experiment with this, but the right times. What I have noticed for myself when I eat late, one of my only nutrition coach, or actually I've had a couple, but my latest one, she would often say, the kitchen closes at 6. I think that's what they would say in their household. Nothing on the plate after 8. So eating late, that has a tremendous impact upon me. Sleeping, burping when I go to bed, just not a good night's sleep if I feel really heavy, and it has big ramifications in the morning as well. So the right time when we eat plays a big impact. We want to give our bodies time to digest the food. And so this is really this circle that Bill Phillips has in his book, Eating for Life. We want to focus on the right foods. Number one, we want healthy foods, foods that are natural, foods that are just not the junk food, processed foods, the right foods with the right amounts, the right combination, the proteins and the carbs together at the right time. And this book really is a great book because he provides meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. And if you read his book, Body for Life, you know that he would often incorporate what's called a free day. And that has changed throughout the years. Some people don't like this idea of a free day or cheat day or eat whatever you want kind of day. I did that for a number of years. It worked well. But as we get older, it may change a little bit. And so for a free day, where if you just say, well, I want to eat whatever I want that pizza, I want to go to the movies at Cinemark, you get the popcorn and the M&Ms, the peanut butter M&Ms, and throw them all in together. That's what I do. Then you can do that. And it gives us that liberty and that freedom to enjoy different kinds of foods. So all of that is a part of this idea of eating for life. But I will say that in his book, he does have great desserts that are mentioned as well. So I recommend this book, Eating for Life. I actually had Bill sign this book along with another one, Body for Life. I really enjoyed my time working with him. And I think this is a great book to add to your library. So make sure that you feed and fuel your body for success with the right foods, the right amounts, the right combinations at the right time.